I think wordplay is very important here. Because one thing that I noticed was when What's Her Face said black culture, he said Jamaican culture. And he kind of somewhat backed himself out of the corner that he could never have really gotten out. Now, as I said, wordplay, very important here. True Jamaican, what's a true Jamaican? And if I'm looking at a true Jamaican, Wight Yardie ain't no true Jamaican. But if he was raised there, so say if you've got a parent who's from Yard and you wasn't raised there, because Wight Yardie grew up there, would he have more say over that type of thing than you? That's a question.
No, because look at the colonizers.
Right. And this is why ultimately I think that this conversation is an absolute joke. Because if you're just simplifying things, right, it's like, as a white man, I can't trust you. When it comes to anything to do with something that comes from us, I don't trust you. Whether what you say is valid, based on what I know through past and present, it's in my right to not trust a thing you say, whether it's true or not. Now, I can't necessarily dispute the fact that my man was raised there. I can't, because if he was, then he was. If he claims it, he claims it. But I think most importantly, us as black people need to check that every single time, because it's our right. We don't trust you, and I feel like subconsciously the argument is you're a white man, and we don't trust you.
What brought him back to England?
He said
I have
basically
no
his mum was here and then moved to Jamaica.
Okay. Why did she move
As
to
he
Jamaica?
said, that what was it?
Okay.
And then he was conceived in Jamaica, and then she left. What was it? Just a little while before she was due to have him, she flew back over here to have him.
Let's say
So I think
she
it was
could
the
afford.
question.
Privileged, huh?
She could
Yeah.
afford.
Yeah,
She could afford.
but she did
She
to
could
know
afford to
that
leave.
right, because
That's it.
to have whatever
That's not no
experience
true
over
Jamaican.
here, and then
She had a baby here.
And then she flew
Went
back
to
when he was
leave for
3
like
months.
3 years old or something.
I think 3 months she flew back over there. So him growing up, all he knew was Jamaica until he came here at whatever age. But see, my thing is he's never claimed outside of himself, if that makes sense. So you see, like he's never said, he will say he won't say like his parents are, or at least I've never heard anything when I've heard anything like that he's spoken on. So he will say his mum's English or wherever she's from, he knows that much. So it's not like, oh, my mum's this and my mum's that. It's just he was born, raised up, went to school there, done everything until he got to a certain age and then came over. Why, how, and all the semantics, I don't know. But
Rest of the Jamaican life.
we'd work very much.
Come back to get his money. He's going back.
But I say though, like he has the right.
Yeah.
He has the right to claim whatever he wants to. But we have the right to say, I don't believe you, and I don't trust you, and cut that shit out. But who's right and who's wrong?
Is it a conversation of right and wrong? Do you think
I don't think
I
there's
don't know.
no right wrong in this.
Do you think it's a topic
It's
of right and
perspective,
wrong?
isn't it?
I actually think that it's a pointless one.
Yeah. There is
Because-
no, like, it's basically down to him.
But it's
Not
down to him. And
whatever we say doesn't matter. It's whatever he thinks.
Because he's claimed it anyway. But
Yeah.
hear what though? He's been allowed to slide because he may have some black people around him that say,
Yeah.
yo, you're
My
one of
man.
us. For me, in this war, you can't be one of us. How? there's a history of people like you infiltrating and fucking up shit. It's true. It's true.
What's that movie called?
The Black Messiah. Someone actually said that, like, the fact that he has to call himself Wight,
Yep.
yardie, very important.
Of course. Especially if his name's Harry.
What is his name?
His name's Harry.
What?
Harry.
That's not
Isn't it Harry?
It ain't Harry.
You're
bro.
making it up.
It ain't Harry.
So he hasn't got a Jamaican name.
No, he hasn't.
It ain't Harry, man.
Like, if he was here, he would have got grilled way more than that TV show.
Do you know what I think the thing though is that the main thing that it seems like everyone's going off of there, because even I'm not gonna lie, I was like, was when I don't know the guy's name that was on the panel said. So when did you decide that you were Jamaican? I'm not gonna lie, it kind of made me laugh. But I thought, what? Why did he ask a question like that? Because I thought you could have got the answer, but it's the way he worded the question. He said, so when did you decide you were Jamaican? And I was thinking,
Oh, what, on the panel?
yeah, but I'm thinking anyone in their right mind anyway is going to say, and his response was, well, I didn't just wake up at the age of 7 and say, well, I'm going to be Jamaican today, which is kind of like,
It's true.
kind of how I'd expect
They
someone
didn't
to
have a
answer
choice.
it.
Do you get what I'm saying?
But if he said, like, okay, when did you feel you could, like, claim, or when did you feel to refer to yourself as, or he just said, when did you decide you
I
were
do think
Jamaican?
they let themselves go. I do think as it's, by the way, big up them lot for having that show, but I do think 2 black women having that show is a representation of us, and it's a good one. But I think if we're gonna do it, like, do it. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Go hard or go home.
yeah, like really ask the important questions that need to be asked. And for me, I don't follow Wight Yardie. I don't follow this other people that claim to be one of us. And I don't really like people who empower that sort of
Fuckery.
notion. What's the other one? Blackjack. Alawa Jack or whatever they're calling him.
What's that?
That guy from Love Island.
Oh,
You went over
that they
with
do
that.
that show with.
He was on
Funny
Love
to-
Island.
yeah.
He's a good looking guy, don't get me wrong, and
I
black
don't
girls
watch
love
it.
him. He's a good looking guy, I'm not saying that, but they call him Black Jack. The guy's pretty much white, but they literally call him Black Jack. And for me, I don't just call him Jack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just call him Jack.
Just call him Harry.
Just call him Harry.
Yeah, like
I need to remember.
he can feel Jamaican. He's grown up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but that,
at the
like
same
anyone-
time, as you said, it's the Wight Yardie bit. Why
Yeah.
do you need to be? Why do you need to differentiate?
But see,
You-
I
well, I don't know.
questioned, yeah, whether that
See,
was
yeah.
him trying to do the whole
No, he's
typical
playing it smart.
Jamaican thing.
He's
No,
playing
the
it
reason
smart
why I
'cause
say
you don't
that.
think of a Yardie as white.
No,
That's-
not just that.
But-
Have you noticed the Yardies have got this thing? I shouldn't even, do you know what? Forget this. whole
No,
Yardie
say what
thing.
you're going to say.
No, I'm saying forget the Yardie.
Yardie
thing.
and Jamaican.
Yeah, I think there's
Okay.
there's a difference
There's a
between
difference
them two
between that as
anyway,
well,
right?
yeah.
So what I have noticed with Jamaicans, or Caribbean people in general, but even more so with Jamaicans, yeah, is that everyone's got like extra names.
Not Yardie.
Yeah, no, everyone's got different names in it. So you've got like your family name, your government name, and still maybe another name that your friends and associates know you by, right? Then the other thing is that they like to call people based on, like, if someone's short, they might call them tall man.
Yeah.
If they're slim, they might call them fatty, and vice, or they'll call someone slims when they're like the size of a house, kind of thing. Like they tend to do that play on words thing. So then part of me was like, oh, as much as he is obviously white, was it almost trying to fit into that realm as well, or was
Supposedly,
it just?
he's not obviously white, because some people think he's mixed race.
Is it?
No, isn't his woman's even mixed race or fully black, but he white.
Aye.
I mean,
This
I
is
don't
a
think
mockery
that,
if you ask me. Absolute
I'm gonna have to
mockery.
check this out now.
But I don't know. I saw something about him having some Twitter words or something with people.
Yeah.
How
How
did
did
they
they got
do
into
that?
it?
Oh yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that?
Basically,
He was
the
having
guy
some
who was
Twitter
sitting
war.
next to him, he was quiet, right? I think someone must have like challenged him online, and he started going in on Wight Yardie. And the fact that we even call him Wight Yardie is disgusting, you know. It's disgusting. How about just white man? It's true though.
So would you lot accept him as a Jamaican man?
Yeah.
You would.
If he's grown up in Jamaica and he feels he's Jamaican, but then when you give the context of what his mom did, you're like, obviously, it's like if people come here and they've lived here most of their life, they'll consider themselves British. But
But not
there's
English,
there's like a
But would they consider themselves English?
no. But I don't know the difference. But I don't even all that shit. But I'm just saying. The thing is, we've got to think about what does it represent. So, for instance, when you go to America, they call themselves American, and they will define Black Americans and Asian Americans.
Yeah.
But none of you are even Americans, because it's not even your land.
Right.
If that makes sense. So it's
Right.
like, is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
Is it the same sort of appropriation?
I would say that's vastly different because with Americans, because of the indoctrination that they put us under as black people, right? Americans generally don't know where they're from. Like they literally
Europeans.
don't have a clue. No, like you could speak to a black American and he couldn't tell you past Houston where he lives. He couldn't tell you past Washington. They cannot track their roots because they've been so damaged.
Unless they've got family
The
directly
fact that you
from
can even
someone.
call yourself a black American is crazy.
Yeah.
Because that American part, what does that
Would
say?
be- Yeah.
It doesn't say
Exactly.
anything because
They say
America
American.
was only like,
Or
how old is
English.
America? Not that old, right?
Not as
Not
old as
comparison.
us, please.
Yeah.
Right.
To me, a
Right,
culture
right.
shouldn't have a colour, but if you look at like the origins of who was there, it wasn't the people that are there now.
To me, there.
So
to
it's a bit
me,
weird.
White Yardie's a pilgrim. He like yo. How did your people then get there? You travelled. You're not even from there. You might have grew up there,
That's
but you
probably
ain't
what it
from
is.
there. That's me.
And that sets a precedent. But I feel for him because I'm like, if he didn't have no choice about it, then he grew up there. People are judging him on something he didn't really have a choice in. His parents.
No, but he had a choice whether he called himself White Yardie
Oh, yeah,
and
of
took the
course.
position
Oh, yeah.
that he did.
That bit there,
Because
yeah.
he's
I understand.
capitalising
Of course.
off of the name. No one's not really interested in White Yardie. It's just the fact that he's white and he's got such a tough accent. That's it.
It's true.
See, I find it hard to accept people like that because I'm in a place where I feel that everyone should be proud of their heritage. I've had to do a lot of self-work on myself, and I think that just because you was raised in a place, you can be culturally from that place,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make you from that
Yeah.
place. Similar to what you're saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you from that place. So there is no way in a million years that I am going to call Wight Yardie a Jamaican man because he's not.
So with that notion, yeah, you see where he said he sees himself not as part of black culture but of Jamaican.
That's one and the same.
But I was gonna say, would you accept or not accept?
He is part of the black culture. I would say he's part of the black culture. That doesn't make him black. But he's
Which
part
Yeah,
is
but then
what I said.
if he said I'm part of the culture but I acknowledge the fact that I'm not black, how does that sit with you?
But which is why I said
Yeah,
it's
also,
true though.
how much does he actually advocate for the issues that black people go through?
I think
Do you
he
know
does.
what? In fairness,
He
he
does.
does.
I think
he
he
does.
does.
Because even one
I
of the
don't,
last.
obviously, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know him.
Not even one of the last.
No,
You
but-
don't get a pat on the back for doing what's right.
Yeah, no, but he should naturally. He should just want to do what's
Right,
by people,
right,
you know
right.
what I
But
mean?
this is the thing now. Look,
It's not
look,
like
look.
a savior thing.
I heard a woman on the panel say something about, not verbatim, but she don't think that his intentions are bad. How the fuck do you know?
Yeah,
Oh, that was the one when
Respectfully,
she was talking about.
How do you
the,
know what his intentions are?
you can't.
So many black people have allowed others in their space and said, I like him, I like her, I trust them. Come round for tea. Yeah, we're pals. And da-da-da-da-da. But until shit hits the fan,
And comedy is the way you explain
Comedy,
that.
That's what she was basically asking if it was a culture
Entertainment.
vulture, innit? Yeah.
like no one, see, look, we don't know what his intent is, but it's safe to assume, based on history and present day, we cannot trust the white man.